All right. Are you serious, guys? Are you serious? Welcome another powerful interview here on our YouTube channel. And joining us from the sunny Southern California, the man, the myth, the legend, Bob Kutla with Trade Genius. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Paul, and it is beautiful here today. Absolutely stunning weather, 70s and sunny, in between two rainstorms, though.
Oh, okay. Well, we same thing here. We've had some great sunshine. The storms have just hit. The rain. I don't know what we're going to get. And the National Weather Service yesterday went out. The 122 offices went offline during these storms raging, and people didn't know 50 tornadoes. So that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
That's never a good sign. All right, Bob. Well, hey, it's great to have you today, and I know that the stock market is and has been doing its thing. Gold is up, nice. Bitcoin has been holding steady, and but now's the moment because you're saying, and you've got to tell me, explain this one. You're saying this is a Revelation 6:6 moment. Bob, going biblical. Tell me what this means.
Yeah, so if people let's take a minute to pull their Bibles out or Google it really fast. This is the environment. In Revelation, people just think it's a single day event. It's at least to me, it's a process, right? And one of the parts of the process with the four horsemen is that there's going to be a lot of, I would say, disparity between people being able to live and survive. And I think we're at that point of the economy right now where in the Bible it talks about, hey, don't hurt the oil and the wine, which means the rich are okay, but basically a quart of barley for a day's wages, which means that the people that aren't rich are basically day-to-day survival.
Yeah.
And you get that environment when you start getting into these inflationary environments, and we're in one now. We're in an environment, Paul, where the 70s are being revisited. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's different between the 70s and what's happening now is that in the 70s, you and I were children, okay? And we were coming into the workforce and we were part of that baby bulge, coming into the workforce, creating economic activity. This time inflation's hitting when most of the population is going on fixed income. And I think it's going to impoverish tens of millions of people in the United States, if not more. And because the government has an inability at this point, for good or bad reasons, I'm not even going to talk about the whys and wherefores. It is, and it's not changing. We have too much social benefits that need to be paid out, not enough income coming in, and therefore they're deficit spending, and they can't control it anymore. The Fed basically has given up, and that's why you're starting to see oil taking off, gold taking off, silver taking off, platinum taking off, uranium taking off, and Bitcoin taking off. And so that's the environment where we're getting, basically a great rotation out of tech, okay, and out of the normal things people usually buy, and they're buying things that hurt when you drop them on your feet, because that is literally the only way that you're going to be able to stay ahead of the inflation storm that's coming. And they talk about going to 2.5%. We're at 3.5% now. Don't believe any of that. Those numbers are closer to 6 to 9% inflation rate. And I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon until they create a recessionary environment. And in the meantime, you're going to see these things spike. I mean, look, gold and silver and oil have been on parabolic moves here for the last 6 weeks. I mean, we haven't
Yes.
seen these moves since we saw a little bit in 2020 before the COVID crash. And then before that, we saw it coming out of the great financial crisis. But the move I'm looking at this time is what happened after the tech crash in 2000, basically from 2002 to 2006, 2007. Uranium, oil, and gold and silver all had really nice moves, and because they became secular, and now we're in those secular moves right now.
So in other words, and when you mentioned that inflation rate, 6 to 9%, if we go back to the day that Joe Biden took office to now, I think that number is more like 28%.
Yeah.
Over
Close to 35% for his term in office.
that's
I'm just gonna,
terrible, isn't it? I mean,
that's
isn't
just
that
the
awful?
annual. Yeah, it's just the annual rate, 6 to 9%.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're all about optics. So they want to show, hey, we're growing, we're doing this, we're doing that. In the meantime, people can't even afford food. I don't know if you've been to the grocery store, but anything that's on the what I would call the premium end, nobody's buying. They're
No.
trying to mark those things down because people are literally trying to survive on the most basic things. I mean, somebody told my wife I live in Laguna Niguel, California. Somebody told my wife the other day that he goes shopping at the end of the day so he can pick up the day old bread that they freshly baked, so he can get a discount. Okay, I mean
That's
that's an indictment at this point.
yeah, yeah. And I don't see the economic policies of the Biden administration. I don't see how anything they got going right now is going to change the pattern. I think if he stays in office, we're in for another 4 years of just outrageous inflation rates, interest rates, and shrinkage. Shrinkflation is also part of this. I don't see oil going down, which affects transportation and freight, as you know, and that has to get passed along cost of goods. So what you're saying is, and even if Trump gets in, I mean, he's going to have to do some drastic. He's got to turn the Titanic. I mean, not going to be easy. So let me ask you a question. You have had some tremendous success over at folks. Bob Kudla at Trade Genius. And you can see his website right there, tradegenius.com, or you can pick up the phone and call him right there on the number. Use that promo code SPRING. He's got some great opportunities. And here's why this is important. You said the majority of the elderly population, of course, going on a fixed income. I know I live here in the villages in Florida where most of these people are retired, thousands of them. This is crunching them, the way the inflation's went. You're offering an opportunity for people. Don't have to be my age to enter into the market. I'm not too old, and you can be much younger. You have a program that teaches people how they can get in control of their own destiny. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just teaching them. We actually give you the tools to trade more effectively. We've created a number of really effective algorithms. And for you, you don't even care if that's an algorithm. It's basically a visual display of where you should buy and where you should sell, and how long you should hold the trades. And we also give trades out every day. And I sent over to you just the comments that we've been getting in the trading. We've literally been on fire because first thing you have to do is just like God says, the Holy Spirit says in the Bible, you got to know what season you're in. And we understand the season that we're in, and they don't hide it. That's the other thing. People think that they try to trick you. Market, they don't trick you, and big money can't hide. So all we do is we just we basically optimize our algorithms to take advantage of these moves, and then we provide those trades out every day. We give you the toolkit. You can trade whatever you want to trade. We have chat rooms like you and I could be talking now, and we also have education for people that just want to learn on top of it. So it's gone really well for us and for our subscribers. I think we've definitely helped change some lives. But
You
the most
have.
important thing is we've really given people confidence to understand how the market works. And we don't care what the market does because there's always a bull market somewhere. And for those who haven't been
I'm looking at right behind me, folks. You see a little bit of you see the typing here of a comment. Here's one right now. Today, 10:30 this morning. I want to commend you on all the great work that you've been putting in. I've learned a ton in a short amount of time about BTC, and I've made a consistent gains on your guidance. I think any money spent on this service is well worth it. So this is one of your newbies, apparently, who's gaining ground and making some money as they learn.
Yeah, I mean, look, we consider ourselves white hats. In this industry here, there's a lot of charlatans, and Paul, you know me for a long, long time, so that's not the case. I mean, you just for people listening, Paul actually, I had to go and visit Paul, and he interviewed me. He eyeballed me, make sure
Yes,
that
I did.
said I was, and God, that's been almost 10 years now, Paul.
I can't believe it. I mean, I was in Southern California. We sat down and had lunch, and I knew after I got done talking to you that you were the real deal.
Yeah,
because it's important. I don't want to, I don't want to say to people, "Hey, guys, jump in. This guy's going to do that," unless I really know. And let me give you another one, guys. Here's another one. He sent this was this morning or this afternoon, 1 p.m. this afternoon. This guy says, "Thanks for the trades. I made $10,000 in a week." And I saw that and I thought, "Wow!" I mean, that's is that like abnormal, or is that
That's abnormal. Yeah, most people don't make that kind of money, but I appreciate them sharing that. And so, we're all about base hits. You basically grind your way into profit. People that tell you that you're going to make a lot of money in the stock market, don't follow them.
right?
Okay, you want people to give you good tools, and you want to grind your way. I'll give you an example. If you made $100 a day in the stock market, you're making $25,000 a year. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you make $400 a day in the stock market, we get $100,000 a year. You don't have to go crazy and try to find all these crazy trades. That's when you end up losing a lot of money. So our track record, we put every trade out there, as you know, Paul. We have recorded on our website as we do it.
Yep.
And so we're totally transparent. And you see the good, bad, and the ugly. But we have our win rate's over 66% now, which is pretty good. But more important than that is that we have what's called a positive profit factor, meaning that when you win on trades, you win more money than when you lose on trades. So I appreciate you letting me plug the service, but I want to really help inform people where we're going on this. Is that I think the uranium trade probably has a double left in it. I think oil gets up to $88. It may pull back from there, a little summer.
All right.
Gold and silver, interesting. If it's gold could go to 2,500, silver can get back to 30 here on these moves, and then I think tech's in trouble. Okay, they don't like higher interest rates, but here's a trick for people too. As the 10-year rate rises in interest costs, energy tends to go up too. So there's a way to protect yourself from higher interest rates is by being in energy. If interest rates start to fall, that'll affect energy, start to go down with it. But then stocks like TLT go up. So you could just create a seesaw effect and just be moving your money from one to the other as the tide goes in and tide goes out. So you don't have to be dogmatic about things. Just if the weather changes, you put on an umbrella. If it gets sunny out, you put on sunglasses, and that's how it works in the market. And you don't have to be flying back and forth. I mean, these moves happen, days and weeks at a time. So you can actually continue shifting in and shifting out. And we just teach people how to do that and how to trade that. And right now, the secular move is towards commodities.
Now, Bitcoin is up to 65,000 right now. It was up to 72 or something like that. It's holding steady. So if gold is holding steady and Bitcoin's holding steady, these are alternative assets, I would call them, from the stock market. And yet the stock market's at 39,000. So is there a little bit of diversity involved in this? Do you teach some of that at your academy? Yeah,
well, we teach people too is you look for what's called divergences, right? So the markets hasn't really it's been struggling of late. It's really at a high here. And so what you're seeing now, you're just seeing gold and Bitcoin playing catch up. Okay. Bitcoin's interesting. Just people know too. I do a daily podcast, just Trade Genius on YouTube, so you can find it.
Oh, that's good.
And actually today, right before I got on with you, we actually recorded one where we talked nothing but Bitcoin. Where do we think it's going to go?
Okay.
And for a sneak peek is that it could go down and fill a gap here in the high 50s before it could ricochet up. But we have targets at 87,000, targets up to 100,000. And then if things go absolutely parabolic, you can actually get a move up to 173,000. That's the good news. The bad news, if it gets up that way, it could fall all the way back down to 20,000 afterwards. So you definitely need some guidance here on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a beast unto itself. A lot of people are just starting to see it now for the first time. The adoption rate's getting big enough. And I think it's going to cause, people to not really understand. It doesn't operate like the regular stock market. The highs are higher, the lows are lower. But overall, Bitcoin has been steadily moving up on a logarithmic way for a long time. And if we get a supply shock, like you said, if people lose confidence in the dollar or the euro or the yen and decide they're going to park their money into Bitcoin because it's a non-banking asset like gold.
Yeah,
is that you get a supply shock. Who knows how high Bitcoin can go? There's only so many of them made, and over 80% of them, I think it's 84%, don't even trade. So they're just locked away in wallets. So all the actions is happening with 16% of the supply.
Wow.
And we go into a halving here in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
the reward gets cut in half going forward. So
I was going to ask you about that because my wife keeps telling me, she says, hey, Bitcoin's going to split in half. And
well, it doesn't split in half.
Or it divides. I forgot what
No, that's not. No, let me correct. It's
okay.
So far be it from me to tell you to correct your wife, Paul. So I'll do
no,
it for
no,
you.
go ahead.
It's the Bitcoin won't split. It's the reward of creating new Bitcoin gets cut in half.
Okay.
So in
I
the
see.
past, if you won the award, you got X amount of Bitcoin. Now, when that halving happens, it's half that level.
I see.
Which is an animal into itself. It usually causes Bitcoin to pop after a pullback, but it causes the Bitcoin miners to struggle. So it's a really interesting environment. We talk about that too. So we have just a crypto room. So Paul, the specials we have running are 65% off. We have a crypto room dedicated just to crypto trading, a room just for trading stocks. We have a room for just trading, options, futures kind of trades, or get into a VIP, like a conversation like we are doing. And people that just want to train, we have that as well. So we have a room for all comers. And what we charge for the service is nothing compared to what we get out of it. And then final thing too is that if you support me through Paul's show, I turn around and financially support Paul too. So some of the money that you send to me, I give right back to Paul. So
we appreciate that.
So it's a way in which you can support the ministry, but also get value add for yourself.
We appreciate that. And folks, go to
higher than a tithe, by the way.
Yes. And tradegenius.com. You can go there, tradegenius.com. Use the promo code SPRING. I think for the rest of the week or next 3 or 4 days, he's got this special going. Use that promo code SPRING or pick up the phone and call him at 1-800-949-1408. As it's right there on the bottom of the screen. Call that number, 1-800-949-1408. Tell him Pastor Paul sent you there. And you get, when you said you get tools, he actually gives you get software. Am I right? It's a software system.
You get access to software. It's on, on TradingView. It's the indicators are there. Next time we talk, Paul, I'll have some charts for you. You can show people what it looks like.
Okay, that'd be great. We'll do that again very soon. So, folks, again, tradegenius.com. Use that promo code SPRING. Some of you are watching. Look, and you can enter in softly. There's no large amount to enter in. You just enter in softly, a small entry. Get the sign up for his agency, his institute, his training. Get the tools and let him start helping you. He gives a lot of good tips. People are in the chat room. They all talk, work together. It's a community of folks just trying to make sure they can all make some either add-on money or even make a living at this. And Bob would really help you.
Yeah, and look, it's a lot of like-minded people. Obviously, I'm on your show. The shows that I choose to go on, we all kind of see the world the same way. So you're in with a bunch of good people that want to see you succeed.
Amen to that. Praise God for that. All right, I'm not even going to ask you about the election. We're going to wait till next time on that. I want to get your feeling on what's going on in this year. But again, Bob, thank you for coming on and sharing with us. I believe that folks go there and get started. Get started. Let him get you started, and then you're going to see the results. One guy just saw one of your comments was, hey, Bob, I had a 9.8 return. Very happy. So that's 9.8%. So, yeah, that's a nice return in a world full of inflation and high interest. So, it's good to see people doing well. Bob, thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me, Paul. See you next month.
Okay. God bless. Again, folks, that was Bob Kudla and Trade Genius. And he is a genius. And when first time I talked to him, he told me about how he figured out algorithms, how he studied the weather, and then what crops grew in what part of the world, and he knew that would affect the futures. I knew right then this guy was way out ahead of the curve. He's not just rolling the dice. He's actually studying the market and studying the reasons for why things go up and down. So I'll see you guys next time right here on The Coming Apocalypse.